Hi, it's Gene. Right now we're going to make a wonderful buttered noodle dish. Fusilli pasta with some butter and Parmesan cheese and dried basil. A lot of people have a problem with dried basil, thinking it's a musty spice, but I really like the flavor of it, although it is completely different from fresh basil. The first thing we're going to do is bring our pot of water to boil. We want to salt the pasta water once it comes to a boil. You don't want to salt your water before it starts boiling because it'll just sink to the bottom of the pot and it will pit your pot. And it is a very sad thing in life indeed to have a pitted pot. So, I'm going for a third. Yeah, that's a lot of salt. And give it a stir. Put your lid back on to bring to a furious boil. In the meantime, we're going to do our sauce. It's a very simple sauce. And by the time the pasta cooks, we'll have finished up our sauce with a little bit of Italian sausage to add to it. Fusilli is a funny pasta. Not hilarious, not a comedic pasta. For years, we knew it as corkscrew pasta, and then somehow it became rotini, and then with the very famous Seinfeld episode where they make the figure of Jerry Seinfeld out of the pasta, it became Fusilli, and the Fusilli Jerry. So that is why we're calling it Fusilli today. All right, and here is our pasta happening. There's like a typhoon going on in there. We're going to pour the pasta in. Stir it around. Always stir your pasta while it's cooking. Otherwise, you're just going to get a big clump of starch. And that is not something we want to have. Our flame is on here. Drop a half a pound of Italian sausage into our heated oil. And break it up into small pieces. It's really supposed to be ground and just add small amounts of flavor. There shouldn't be any great large pieces. Also, at this time, toss in our garlic, and that is about a tablespoon. I don't understand how dried basil tastes completely different than fresh basil. It should be called something else, but I'm not in charge of that, so I just have to go along with it. Sausage is browning. I'm spilling it all over the place. The garlic is aromatic. I'm going to go ahead and drop about a tablespoon of dried basil in here. All right, now our sausage is browning very nicely. We're just about done. Our garlic is aromatic. That means smelling really good. And I think it's time to add our butter. Let's drop in a cube of butter. And we're just gonna let that melt and incorporate in as our sauce. That smells really good. And I'm really hungry. Look at that golden magic cooking up with the sausage. You can smell that dried basil, the little flecks in there. Let's check on our pasta and see the doneness. You want it to be al dente. Nobody wants sad, gooey. Maybe another minute. Still a little crunchy, but it's better than sad and gooey. In the meantime, let's just stir this around a bit. We are going to pour this into the pasta, and then we're going to add some Parmesan cheese to it as well. And then we also will have some Parmesan on the side for passing. We can turn that down a little bit. All right, let's check our pasta. It should be done now. Let's see. Ta-da! Let's turn off both burners. We're going to drain our pasta. Now, just put the pasta back into the pot. Pour our sauce right on it. and we're just gonna mix it up. Parmesan cheese. And it's about a half a cup that you want to use. And if there's anybody around that says, oh, I don't like Parmesan cheese, it's this or it's that, then they just don't have to eat it. Boom. Ooh. So I am going to do that thing that they do on cooking shows and eat the food that is way too hot and gonna sear the roof of your mouth, but I really want to taste this. This is so good. Eat up.
If you like this episode of Sunday Dinner, click the bottom to subscribe to our channel. Look us up on Instagram for behind-the-scenes pictures and more at Jean's Sunday Dinner.